Hi, I'm Angela, but most people call me Ange. I'm on the go to one of United Way of Greater Stark County's partners. These are the folks helping to build a stronger community. Let's learn more about them.
If the American dream is that every child can be whatever they want to be, then the American education system is the bedrock of that dream. Ideally, every child would come to school every day ready to learn, but we know that kids come from significant poverty. They come from households that have drug abuse or domestic violence. They come from communities that have violence. Rick Hall's idea was to surround them with a multidisciplinary team that could support them and their families. After leaving Alliance, he began working at Fairless Local District, and he took the concept of care teams to scale in Fairless. The results were amazing. Attendance improved, grades improved, test scores improved, and every district soon wanted to have a care team. United Way has always been committed to safe, healthy families. Using some strategic funds, they leveraged those and got matching funds from a donor who also believed in the concept. We watched care teams grow from 1 district to 4 or 5 districts to 9 or 10 districts, and now every district served by the Stark County Educational Service Center, including those in neighboring counties, have a care team.
It can range anywhere from, like Lucy was saying, needing school supplies, to needing a snack that they missed breakfast, to needing shoes or socks, or it could be something a little bit more serious, like they need a resource for utilities.
On top of that too, is like, I think nowadays our kiddos are, they're just experiencing things that we never did before. So like those are challenges too for us to find those things. So we need to continue to educate ourselves on what's out there so that we can then educate the parents.
One of our challenges is that we don't have public transportation. We're a rural district. We don't have mental health agencies in our backyard that are 5 minutes away. If you're going to do something like that and you're going to go to an appointment, you're probably going to drive about 30 minutes. So if you're struggling and you have $10, are you going to put that money in the tank and go to that appointment, or are you going to keep it for something that you need at home?
So because I have all these resources in different organizations that I do have available to help, I want to educate, like you were saying, educate the families so they can actually reach out to these resources. So in my personal opinion, a success story is, 1, we've provided what the family needs, but 2, we've also educated on what's out in the community. The challenge is making sure you're connected.
One of the things that was huge years ago, we had kids that were struggling because the beginning of the school year, they didn't have school supplies. And when you come to school without school supplies, it's very humiliating. It's very embarrassing. And we had some churches that gathered together and started doing a back to school days where they would pack backpacks with school supplies. That was enormous for many of our students, that they could come in and be on the same playing field. They had everything that they needed. They had a backpack. They didn't stand out. That was huge. That does the heart really good. You know, just getting them to understand that you don't always have to have the best of everything. You still can come and do your best.
If we can relieve a little bit of stress, and that might just be pointing people in the right direction. I know childcare for me is a big one at the elementary level. Now we have Y Care at our school, but I mean that there's even a cutoff for that. Some people just make, like, I had a mom once that made $7 too much. That $7 isn't going to cover childcare.
Right.
You know, we got her hooked up with what she needed, and it was like, so that's one that sticks out to me. And it was like, it did, like you said, it does the heart good to that's the biggest reward of this job for sure. And sometimes they're few and far between, but when you get them,
it feels
hold
good.
on to them.
We all have a part of what I like to call the village. And every time that we're all taking place in the village, outside of the classroom, inside of the classroom, inside of the home, that is success, because Like I always say, if the children are not doing well, we are not doing well. The children, they are our future. So we have to continue to set them up for success.
Hi, Mallory and Patty.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Good.
So, CARE team. Can you tell us what that stands for?
So CARE is an acronym for coordinating and aligning resources to empower, engage, and educate our students and our families.
So, the perspective I get being out in the community is that most people, they've heard of CARE team. Can you talk a little bit about the big picture of CARE team?
So you mentioned that CARE teams are in every school district. So we have approximately 120 CARE teams. So that's about 22 school districts. And a CARE team in the simplest form is a group of staff members within a school. They get together and they have a conversation about whatever challenge there is that this kid is presenting, and they try and get down to the root cause so that they can help support that student.
What are some of the issues that are common that you see that a student may have that's making it a little more difficult for them to be successful in school?
What typically rises to the top, and what we know with our community, is rising poverty. So basic needs is one of the top needs that we're always addressing, making sure that families have the proper food. We're seeing a rise, of course, as we see in the media lately too, a rise in housing insecurity and homelessness. We're continuing to see, we had pre-pandemic, but even post-pandemic, of the need for the mental health supports. Lots of grief that our students and families are experiencing in our schools, and our mental health partners are working to be able to address.
Chronic absenteeism post-pandemic has really been an issue also.
Yeah, absolutely. And families that are experiencing incarceration and the impact that has. So those are just a few of the many needs that we see from our students.
And one of the things that, hearing that list that it makes me think of is, in the last year, how we at United Way of Greater Stark County have narrowed our focus in really trying to address the whole adverse childhood experiences and all of those things that you just mentioned, Patty. You think about having a family member that's incarcerated or being homeless or death of a loved one. All of those things are those adverse childhood experiences. And I know, Mallory, you've been an educator for a long time, and this is just my perspective, but I go back to when I was in elementary school, high school, which was a long time ago. It's like the responsibility was to teach, make sure you could do your math and reading. And now, not that children didn't have needs before, but it seems that they're more complex than ever before. And the importance of CARE team to bring that support, having those supports in the school, and wrapping them around not just the student.
You hit it right on, is that as we think about how much trauma or just hard life experiences that our students and families face, the impact that it has on the family members and the stress they carry. And the more we know about the impact of ACEs, the impact of stress on your brain and your body, we know we have to support the family as much as or more than we're supporting that student with their needs to be able to help everybody heal. And that brain does heal, and with the right supports around them, and with addressing those basic needs and getting them connected to the resources they need.
I have the privilege of being part of the executive committee for CARE team, and one of the things that has always impressed me is that it's truly a collaboration.
We know as the poverty grows in Stark County, there's more kids and more families in need, and one person can't fix everything. So that's the beauty of having that team to sit down and brainstorm, that family support specialist to have all that knowledge of their community and be able to reach out to the specific resources that they need.
And as I think about recent meetings that we've had with all of you at the table, is Mallory will bring the data from our districts and saying, this is what we're seeing, this is what we're hearing. And then together, all these great minds with resources start to think about what can we do to address in bigger ways as the teams in each of the districts are addressing the needs of the students and families individually. But then we take that information and think, how do we go upstream? How do we think about, how do we support this more systematically, and maybe even start to prevent?
I just want to say thank you both for all of the work that you do in the leadership of Care Team and making it possible.
We appreciate your partnership with the Care Team.
United Way was core
Yeah.
in the beginning days of helping the Care Team unfold and grow. That partnership is key, and we can't say thank you enough.
Well, we are happy to be part of it, speaking on behalf of United Way of Greater Stark County and the generosity of the donors that give every year to the annual campaign. They're the ones that make this possible.
Thanks for visiting another community partner with us. Join us next time to see who else is making a positive difference in Greater Stark County.